Hello, everybody. My name is Ajay. I work as the monetization specialist for Google in Singapore. This is my colleague Raj. He
Hello.
also works as a monetization specialist. So, today we'd like to take some time to talk to you about the increasing engagement that we are getting from the mobile web and from social networks as well. So, we want to talk to you about the importance of having a good mobile web page, having a good social strategy, a good content strategy, and how you would look to unlock new revenue and how you keep your users more engaged. The whole idea is to help you build better engagement with your users so that you can find better ways to monetize the content that you provide us. So let's jump right into it. Improving engagement in today's mobile and social world. In today's mobile and social world, as all of you may know, it is increasingly becoming important that it's not only a desktop world, but it's also a mobile world. And before, we used to talk a lot about cross-device conversions, where the transaction initially used to start on your mobile and the conversion used to go on to happen on your desktop. But more and more, it's becoming a mobile first world, and soon we see a future where it's going to be a mobile only world. And in this mobile only world, what is happening is people who are consuming content in different ways. It's not the same way that they were doing it in the desktop days. So what is happening is people, when they're consuming on their mobile phones, are constantly doing something else on the side. So they need something that is quick, something that is fast, and something that is engaging. So you have all of a very few seconds to capture your user's imagination to make sure whether he stays on your site or he never comes back to your site again. So this is our hope that today at the end of the session, we give you enough tips for you to understand how to keep your audiences more and more engaged. Moving on. What we will be looking at is building for today's user, engaging your users, driving traffic, and unlocking new revenue. Building for today's users. Today's users are constantly on the move. They're constantly consuming content when they're commuting to work, or when they're doing something else, or when they look for information. The traffic is primarily from two sources. It's either from social or it's either from SEO. So to keep in mind is one of the very important factors that all of you need to keep in mind is you need to understand your user better than anybody else. You need to know which segment of your users are coming from social, which segment of your users are coming from SEO, and what is the audience demographic like that you're serving to. Does it make sense to serve the exact same content you're serving on desktop to a mobile user when the scenario in which they're looking at the content is completely different? So to always keep in mind that the user on mobile is looking at it from a much different perspective, but you have to stay consistent to the theme of your desktop site to make sure that the content is consistent with what the user sees no matter which device he's on, but the way he consumes it should be very different. Moving on, mobile first strategy and tips. You have to make it fast, you have to make it easy for your users, and you have to make it consistent. As you can see, 67% of users start purchase on mobile phone but complete it on desktop. This used to be the strategy that used to work before. But what we want to highlight is that this 67% is no longer going back to the desktop. They are converting right there on mobile with all the payment options that are available on the phone right now. They don't need to go back to a desktop to convert. They can convert right there on mobile. So you need to make sure that you make it fast, make it easy, and make it consistent. So make it fast. So as we talk about it, if you look at the stats on this slide, it says 74% of your people will abandon your mobile site if it takes more than 5% to 5 seconds to load. So I think that is really crucial, and that is really important, because 5 seconds does not give you a lot of time. It gives you just enough time to keep the user engaged, but you need to show unique content, great content, visually appealing content for the user to look at the page and want to retain their presence on your page, because 5 seconds is a very short time, and there are a lot of players out there who have really fast sites. So you need to make your site equally fast and really engaging. Quickly here, we want to show you a video about accelerated mobile pages, and we want you to look at this and understand what the world of mobile web is heading towards.
The great thing was that you could surf. You go to one site, read something, find a link there, click, you're off to another site. It's the single greatest driver of innovation that we've ever seen. Thanks to smartphones. Everybody has internet in their pocket. But the mobile web is really at odds with the web. Sort of browse and that's all the fast and easy. And right now it's just business. So this thing which should be a source of utter wonder is a source of frustration. People bounce. So if the page doesn't load in a couple seconds, they move on to the next page. That is the worst possible outcome ever. So Google, together with dozens of the publishers and technology companies, sat down and tried to find a solution to this. And our solution was the AMP project. AMP is a fantastic industry collaborative project to make mobile web faster. You'll see the benefits of that I believe first. First thing is instant speed. The next click is only sort of like one that is thrown away. More people will see us, more people will see our app, more people will be able to read our content. We love the building style and pages. It's a great opportunity for us to really look at the brand, feel like our brand. With this sort of open philosophy that it's unfettered and unrestricted and you can do pretty much anything you like with it. Publishers can maintain control over their own destiny, control over their own product, control over their own business. And the best way to do that with an engineering project is to make it open source. I feel like it's really important that there's not a gatekeeper between a publisher and them reaching their audience. The success of the end project is not going to be based on the leadership of one. It's going to be based on the leadership of many. They have a common to others to work together to find a common solution. So this is like all of a sudden everybody jumping and doing stuff and then something comes out that's great. Something that we needed to do for a very long time as an industry. This is the spirit of what it's best. Just give it a try. Show up at the GitHub page, read the documentation, see what it means for your pages. You shouldn't be fighting over what a hyperlink is anymore. It's time to figure out how to tell the best stories. You know, those of us involved with the AMP project are involved in it just because we love the web and we want the web to be as vibrant and healthy as all of us know. We want it to be fast and good. We want to make the web easy. It's really as simple as that. The web.
As you guys noticed in that video, you will see that a lot of the things that they were talking about and a lot of the things that they were doing was to make it more instant, to make it more quick, to make it more engaging, and to keep it really accessible and really simple for the user. As you know, the AMP project is the accelerated mobile pages, where articles load instantly, everybody has access to use it, and deepens engagement with related articles. As you know, as you can see that, in the AMP project, you're just a small scroll away, you're a small touch away from, getting into different parts of the web, and it keeps your mobile pages really relevant with the search results. If the keywords that are being searched for is in your article, you have the opportunity to show up in the carousel right under the search bar. Things like this you never had the option to do before, and the accelerated mobile pages is not a Google initiative. It is a worldwide web initiative. It has a lot of partners. It's an open source. Everybody is pushing for it, and we would highly recommend that all of you who are attending this live stream today really go back and consider looking at the accelerated mobile pages aspect of it. Moving on, we want to talk about how to make it easy for your users. Like we said, 61% will leave your mobile site if they don't see what they're looking for right away. So you have to keep it ease of use, touch friendly, and the font size should be really engaging. It should not make the user want to look to pinch or to adjust the screen size or to make any of those effects, but because once he gets onto the page or she gets onto the page, it has to be easily accessible, easily digestible, and ready to use for them. We want you to be consistent across all the screens, the messaging across your desktop, the messaging across your tablet, the messaging across your mobile phone. All of it needs to look and feel like the same site, but you need to understand the user when he's looking at the content on mobile or when he's looking at the content on desktop. On desktop, it can be more detailed. It can be, the way it's written or the way it's positioned can be very different because people are sitting at home or sitting with their laptops and are spending time to read the content. People on mobile, however, are not doing that. They are just looking at it while they're commuting or they're moving or they're doing something else when they're multitasking. So the content on mobile can be more visually engaging than the content on your desktop. It can have more images, it can have more, heavy content, rich media, all of that stuff going into your mobile pages that can be different from the way it looks on your desktop. But the thing is, the core of your content should still remain consistent across all your devices. We would like to recommend this tool where you can go and test your page speed with the developer tools that Google provides you. You could just drop your site on one of these tools, see what are the quick fixes that you can make, how you can adjust the CSS, where you want to keep, whether you want to keep it inline, whether you want to keep it above the fold, below the fold, how you want to load your ads. One of the things that has been doing really well over the last couple of months that we have seen personally from our experience is that lazy loading. Lazy loading is something that people are doing nowadays to increase viewability for their ads. When people are scrolling through the content, they look at the different ad units, and these ad units only load once the scroll is complete, which means that before the scroll happens, the ad is not loaded. And only once the scroll happens, these ads start to load, which means the viewability of these ads automatically go up, and the user has a much better experience with the content, and it's just much better for in terms of your monetization strategy as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody that's involved. So moving forward, we would definitely recommend that after this hangout, you take some time to go and visit these developer tools that Google has for you guys, and go and put in your sites and see what can you fix, what can you make faster. Is my content on mobile really engaging? Is it really capturing the user? Am I able to make sure that I'm able to retain the user in less than 5 seconds of them coming to my page? Because like we mentioned, and we'd like to reiterate, 74% of the users that come to your page are more likely to leave if it takes more than 5 seconds. So how you position your content on your mobile page will be really, really important. This is just an example of what the results on the page speed tool will look like. So you could go ahead and give it a shot. Now I'm handing this over to my colleague here, Raj, who's going to talk about how you engage your users more social, and the best practices around getting new revenue.
All right, thanks, Ajay. And just to mention also that there's a form which you can use meanwhile to actually leave any questions behind for us. And you can also download the deck. So yeah, highly encourage you to leave questions. Moving forward, what is most important about engaging your users is these users are essentially how you would think about as your clients, right? Like people who come to your site, they view your content, they consume your content, they take it with them, they keep revisiting. So these are the people you care about literally when you create your content. So think of your users when you build content, and not just the other way around, where you build content and you expect users to show up on your site. So keeping your users, attracting new users, and keeping your users engaged is a very critical part of being a publisher. So what are some of the things to really think about? The most important thing, according to me, is having a unique content strategy for yourself, like something that is associated with you. It's almost like a brand to you, like something that others will not be doing, that is specific to you, that as a user I would want to come to your site only, specifically only for this sort of a content. Yes, you could have similar themes or similar overall verticals or similar strategies, which is similar to other publishers, but at the same time, try to keep your content as unique, as specific as you can, because that's what is going to create your brand. And that's why people will come to your site. So when I think of sports, I will know exactly which sports sites to go. or if I want to read more about entertainment, I know exactly which site to go. So think of it as a precursor to building content. Like, who are you building the content for? Okay. Um, and of course, we all know about video. It's become the biggest, source of knowledge, information to all of us. Like, some of us even go to YouTube nowadays to search for things like, say, do it yourself stuff, like how to wear a tie, how to cook a recipe, etc. So the consumption of video is only going to get more and more as we move along. So much so that it's almost like 50% year on year growth of video consumption. And in YouTube, it's almost like a billion views per day. So it's an amazing way of consolidating your content, and it's a new forum. It's a new way to really highlight how you want to bring your content to the users. So definitely think of video, and also a visually attractive medium through which to communicate whatever content you create. um, and think of it also like, go deep, right? Go deep into your content. Try to figure out, what kind of content do I put out there? What do people want, or what do people really care about? And some of the things that we see quite often is something like something of emotional value, something that has social proof, um, practical value, if it's useful. Like, I would love to go and read something about some information that I'm looking for right now, like, say, how to cook a meal, right? Like a specific meal. I can get a recipe. So it's very specific. You can keep it like something that users are looking for. And stories, of course, we all know the impact people's lives, bring to others, right? You can read a story and you feel inspired. And also, you read about different events all across the world and you feel, okay, this is something I want to know about. I want to be engaged with every day, day in, day out. So think of it in terms of how you position your content, how you create your content, and who are my users, and where would I get most amount of users for which topics? Where's the niche audience who will care about only about specific topics? So these are things to think about. Um, and some ideas which I'm sure as publishers, all of you already know. Think of topics which are evergreen, that will never go out of favor, or they'll never go out of fashion, which things like nature, say, things like space exploration, etc. These are topics which are always there. People are curious. They want to know more. These are mysteries, right? So it's great to read more about these stuff. Things which are in depth, if you get specific content from people who are experts in their fields, right? Like, if you have a science blog, if you can get an expert in the field to come and speak, or like have an article or an interview with that person, it automatically drives a lot of users, because users want to know more from an expert who knows about all of this, and not just a speculation, right? So I think in-depth articles also make a lot of difference. And of course, trending, like, it's just, you make sure you're part of a seasonal trend, right? Like, for example, one thing hugely I would like to mention is, end of the year, there's a lot of festivities going on. Christmas, Halloween, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's the holiday period of the year. So highly recommend building content for this time, like this seasonal trend that is going to happen very soon. And it could be anything. It could be like small things like a letter from Santa, or like gifts you can buy during Christmas, uh, smartphones that you should think about for Christmas, etc. So these are things you can think about, like, because that's what people will be looking for end of year, and during these times. So it's a great opportunity for you to sort of jump on that seasonal trend and sort of like grow as a publisher and come into focus, so that in the next year, people already know about you, the kind of great articles you already write. So you don't have to rebrand yourself again. People already know about you. Your promotion and marketing is already sort of done in a way. So think of these things, put a lot of thought into a content strategy, because it makes a lot of difference. And social media on your site. I think one interesting way of looking at it is this, right? This cartoon, which sort of tells you, hey, there are a lot of social media, but I really don't know what to do with it. We'll figure it out. Like, we'll first do everything and then figure it out. So technically it's not how it works, right? There's a lot of things which go into building a social media strategy, right? And there are a lot of people actually working as social media strategists who are just trying to figure out how to best use all of the medium to actually market your site or your content. So like build awareness, word of mouth, I think that works a lot, surprisingly. Like just tell your friends, let them share with their friends, and it just builds a network for you. Capture the leads that you think will make a difference. Like you have Google Analytics, which sort of captures your data. So you get a sense of where users are coming in, where are they leaving, what kind of content are they consuming the most, what parts of your site are they spending most amount of time, and how many, right? If you build a content A, which is viewed and engaged with by 1,000 users, and you have content B, which has like 1 million users, which gets reshared to 2 million users, it's an obvious strategy here to basically create content B, because that seems to be what people are looking for. So spend a lot of time going through your research and your numbers to figure out where exactly you want to double down and create more content, as opposed to some of the other things which are not really working out. Um, and engage consumers, right? Have a nice newsletter set up if possible, or some way to basically keep in touch with your like your consumers, your users. Like I said, they are like your clients, so you should know what they're looking for. If you don't know that, it's difficult for you to build products or content around that. um, and try to amplify your reach, like have social sharing buttons, have a community in different social media, have a way to engage with your users in those communities. It's not just having a page or a community that's going to help you. You need to also engage there. You have to make regular updates. You need to share. It's almost like talking to your friends, but staying in touch essentially. Not just having a community will help. You need to engage them at regular intervals. And all of this basically adds up to drive your revenue, which as publishers, I think it's of critical importance. Some social media best practices: post on regular schedule. Like I said, it's like talking to your friend. Make sure you stay in touch every day as much as possible, really. Create catchy snippets. Try to draw attention, like through like a catchy snippet or something funny, something witty, something humorous. Doesn't need to be like a listicle or like 20 things, etc. But it could be something that people are looking for, right? Some catchy statement. And have a clear call to action. This is very important. You need to tell the users what they're supposed to do next. Or, all right, great, your article seems nice, but what do I do exactly? So you need to bring them to their pages. You need to bring them to the website. Um, and last but not the least, the most important part is unlocking the revenue. And there are a lot of things you can do, but engagement is at the heart of it. If you don't have users, you can put 1,000 ads on your page, but you won't have revenue. But you can even have one ad on your page, but 1,000 users, and you have 1,000 sort of viewable impressions, and you can just take it from there. So it's very important that you first of all have the users, and then look at some of the solutions that we have. We have 1 million Google advertisers who are ready to put right ads at the right time on your site, and we even have ad serving capabilities, which decides when what ad goes where. So revenue is definitely a part of it, but user engagement comes first, and then you plan your monetization around it. Create content, engage users, and generate revenue. It's as simple as that. And some of the things like we discussed, which should be a strategy, is think mobile first, make your content unique, make it very specific, make it engaging. Leverage social to do your marketing for you so that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to basically promote your site or brand yourself. Let social media do it for you. And then you unlock your revenue. And specific to revenue also, we now have something called matched content, which you may have heard of, which has actually is like a content recommendation engine, which increases your page views and time spent on your site. So very simply put, in your page, say in your website, you have 30 articles. If somebody likes one article, the matched content will give you recommendations to some of the other articles on your site. And if a user clicks on them, it basically takes them to another page on your site and another, which they might not have had an option like that not been there. And what we also have is like ads within these matched content units. So sometimes if people are interested in an ad within that unit, that actually adds to your revenue. So it's a win-win for you, both in terms of creating more engagement as well as more revenue. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Keep in mind all of the strategy that we discussed. Uh, Keep it mobile first. Create unique content. Create seasonal content, especially with the seasonal trends coming up. Have viewable ads. Keep your ads as viewable as possible because the next step is revenue. Make sure it's clearly laid out. Don't put ads on parts of your pages which are non-engaging. People do not are not engaging. Don't put ads there because it's just not going to be seen. So no point wasting impressions there. And last but not the least, use products like match content to boost your page views. Use social media to drive more marketing, more promotion for your site. So that's more or less what we had in mind. And Ajay, do you
Yeah, so the thing is, I think that couple of points that we'd like to reiterate before we jump into the Q&A section of things is that firstly, if you have any questions or anything, please do fill out the form so that we can use our last 30 minutes quite beneficial to everybody who is in the Hangout to make sure that we can answer as many questions as possible. So if you have anything, just take these next 2-3 minutes to drop some questions. Please fill out the form to download the deck, and we will send you the content across. It has some great resources that we have: developer tools, best practices for mobile strategies, social engagement, keeping the user first, and all the good stuff that we spoke about. Just to quickly, before we jump into the Q&A, just to reiterate some of the points and to just keep it as a refresher for you guys is the coming quarter that we have is probably the biggest quarter in terms of advertising everywhere in the world. All the big brands that you know in terms of advertising are looking to spend their money, their digital money, all over the web. They have sales. There's going to be Thanksgiving, there's going to be Halloween, there's going to be Christmas, there's going to be New Year's, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I just think that being on top of what is trending is the biggest takeaway we have for you from this entire session, because advertisers have the money, they are looking for great content to advertise on. And you have great tools like Google Trends where you could look and see, okay, last year in Q4, this was trending. These were the topics that were driving the most amount of traffic, be it sales, be it parties, be it weddings, be it holidays, or be it Christmas or New Year's or any of that stuff. So you know what content is trending. So we'd like you to look at last year's data, the year before that, for you to get a sense of what kind of content should I be really making for this coming next 3 months. This is really big because advertisers are going to look to put all their money into content that is really relevant to things that they will be making. So stick to your core. Don't make content for the sake of generating revenue. Do not get us wrong. Stick to your core, but make sure that in your vertical or in your line of work, see what is trending and see what makes the most amount of sense. Also, just to add on about the mobile strategy piece, as you may all know, previously as well from our policy session, we mentioned as well that you can't have big ads above the fold anymore on mobile because user experience really matters. Please consider the smaller ad sizes above the fold. Please look at 300 cross 250 ad sizes in content. Think about lazy loading that we spoke about. Make sure the ad only loads once the scroll happens. Think about all these different strategies. Make sure that you're keeping everybody extremely engaged on your mobile page. Capture them in the first 5 seconds. Keep your content relevant to the season that is there. And one last thing is, you might be a publisher that's based out of either India, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan. But the thing is, all your users do not necessarily have to be based out of these countries. Your users are located all over the world. Identify where your users are coming from, where the most amount of revenue is coming from, which will help you understand, because even the climate is so different from where we are in Asia versus where the users are probably in Europe or probably in America. So make sure that the edits that you're making for seasonality on your website are, relevant to the user's location. Customize the content for the user. Make it more and more relevant for every user. When they come onto the page, let them feel like this is something I know. This is something that I see on the streets every day. So just make sure that you keep it really relevant and really original, and keep it very specific to the user, and keep them at the forefront of all your strategy. And I think that it will really help you reap a lot of benefit. So now we're going to be jumping into some of the questions that we've received from your end, and we would like to quickly jump into the questions over here. So yeah, Raj, you can go for the question, the first one.
Okay, sure. So I think one of the questions is around AdSense for search product. Um, so AdSense for search product, actually, you could directly request for it on our help center pages. So if you go into our help center, AdSense help center, you have an option to directly request for AdSense for search. Please, I advise you to just go there and request for it if that's what you're looking for, and there's an approval process for it. Do you want to take
Yeah.
the next one?
Second question, we have a question regarding video content, and is it possible to place AdSense to any available video and modify it in some extent? Example, translate Hindi. So I think this is more around like a policy question. So just to keep it just in line with our policy, the video should be original, the video should be yours, it should be your content, and the way you can monetize it is through AdSense for video. So AdSense for video is something again that is available on our help center, and you could apply for it from there. And it's a great way to get some monetization strategy going on, because as Raj mentioned today, video is growing at 50% year on year, which means that a lot of the advertisers will be looking to target great video content. So if you don't already have a video strategy set up for your site, we would say, definitely do think about it. And this is definitely one way as well that you could drive the social traffic back to your site by sharing these videos on social media, YouTube, or many places like that.
Okay, and the next question is more around like, how do you get your ads to load faster? So the point here is it's more or less just a matter of having the content load also faster. So it's not like ads load separately, or like it's something else, or it's external to the page itself. So what I would recommend is go to Page Speed Insights. Just search for Page Speed Insights on Google. It will take you to a page which will let you enter your URL and basically make you analyze your page and how the content loads. So just go through that test, eliminate the problems on your site using that page, and that should be good enough for you.
Yeah. So we have a question here about what will be the impact of AMP on CPC RPM from the current levels. So the thing is, as all of you know, and all of you have been publishers for a while, you know that nobody can really predict the CPC before it happens. CPC is something so relative to specific content. Unless we know what site you have, unless we know what current CPC you have or what current RPM you're getting, we will not be able to tell you, what the impact is going to be. But one thing that we can definitely assure you from our end is, if you keep your user engaged, which means that the retention of the user will increase, the time spent on your page will increase, the bounce rate will decrease, which means the viewability will automatically go up. If the viewability goes up, the chances for click-through rate will go up. If the chances for click-through rate go up, automatically your CPC will go up, which means that you get the user to come and interact with your content and keep them as engaged as possible. And as long as you work that part out on accelerated mobile pages, because remember one thing, accelerated mobile pages, even if you don't look at it from a CPC standpoint, look at it from this way. If you have a relevant article to the keyword that's being searched, you get to show up right under the search carousel on Google search, which means that nowadays that is the spot that you should be competing on, not the spots that are below that, the links, because people go there directly because it instantly loads, it's really quick, and it's really relevant and extremely engaging. So as long as you keep that side of it true and make it really engaging and keep it on AMP, we definitely see a positive impact on your performance. We can't tell you by how much the CPC or RPM will increase, but we can definitely tell you with improved experience, you will definitely have a better performance.
Yeah, and just to add on to Ajay here is that AMP, is it directly related to CPC or RPM? No, it isn't. What it is, however, related is indirectly. Whereas if you have AMP, you have a content distribution platform which basically distributes your content and makes your website faster, thereby increasing your matched queries, and your overall site is a good place to show ads. So automatically advertisers start spending more on maybe an AMP page, which is known to be faster. So it's an indirect monetization, but there's no direct correlation between AMP and CPC and RPM. If it is, it's a coincidence. Okay. Um, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the questions that I think we covered most of the other questions.
Yeah. So if you want, we can wait another 2 minutes to see if there are any more questions coming in. I think meanwhile, if you'd like to take a copy of the deck that we shared, we have some really good resources there as well. I definitely recommend all of you just signing up over there and leaving us your deck. We're going to give it 2 minutes to see if there are any more questions coming in from your end. If there isn't, just please remember that keep this coming 3 months really important in terms of your seasonal trends. Keep your mobile strategy and keep it very, very specific to social and mobile traffic, and keep your audiences really, really engaged. Um, I think that's about it from our end. If you have any questions or concerns, please do look at our help center pages, fill out the form so that we can send you the deck. And once we send you the deck, you will be able to go through all the content yourself. We have some notes under each of the slides explaining the slides. You could go through all of the stuff, and we will be looking forward to seeing how many people are engaging with the deck. Thank you so much for your time today, and we will keep you posted on the next Hangout series that we have. Hope you found this useful, and my name is Ajay, and this is Raj. Thank you for your time. Cheers.
Thank you.